AJ, do you have it loaded up? There it is.
Yep.
And here
we go. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the WRK podcast, where we ask the questions, but at the end of the day, who really knows? As always, I'm your host, AJ, here with my good friends Dylan and Michael.
Hello.
And if you hear some dog-related noises in this episode, it's because we got the studio dog in full effect, and she is not ready for a nap right now. We got a 70-pound black lab running around the studio and darkly lit light. Who knows what's going to happen?
It's what studio dogs are for, but
Yep.
She just wants pets.
Yeah, she just wants to get pet, I guess. Holy crap. But yeah, so before you jump into this episode, which I hope that you all do, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter at WRK Pod and Instagram at WRK Podcast. And yeah, if you love the show, if you want to support the show, which I hope all of you do, hit up Patreon, patreon.com/WRK Pod. Help the show grow. Be like one of our many fans that just want us to.
They just want more.
Get bigger and better.
They just want more.
Yeah.
They just want more.
And so yeah, outside of that, you can visit our website, WRKpodcast.com. And yeah, I don't know. I don't got a whole lot else. Big shout out to all of you that donated to McCheese's dad, his GoFundMe account. He just messaged me yesterday and said that he was super thankful that we were shouting it out for him. And yeah, so outside of that, I don't know. We're
doing good things.
Yeah, we're out here.
We out here doing good things. All right.
Lord.
But yeah, you will see it was my birthday this last weekend, and you will see on our not our Patreon page, on our Instagram, a picture of just a solid group of friends and family hanging out at the beach.
Yep.
It was a good time.
It was a great time. Maybe got a little sun.
Get to know us a little bit.
Maybe got a little drunk, but it was a fun time. Still went out to the bars that night, though. Had a great time.
But yeah, outside of that, if you're waiting for the show to launch on YouTube, we apologize. We started watching some PV pipe players.
Yep.
And it was a rabbit hole. But
shout out to Jay Tube Chubby, whatever his name is, Jay Chubby.
Oh man,
I don't remember.
No, I don't
it wasn't that memorable. The PVC pipes were the memorable part.
I don't know. He was a dorky kid. I liked him.
But yeah, we'll catch you after a little groovy beat. All right. So if you're watching live on YouTube, and if you want to watch live on YouTube, we're usually live around 5:30 to 6 o'clock Central U.S. time, and on Mondays. We're doing this on Tuesday, unfortunately, because yesterday there was a 3-day rainstorm and the studio was somewhat submerged underwater.
Right.
But we got that taken care of, and now we're back. We're here to talk about some corporate censorship today.
Right.
Because not enough people are fucking talking about it, and people, it's only going to get worse if less people are shouting it down when it happens.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of smoke screen, I feel like, to a lot of important shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of, good things happening, movements are happening. But, the media is going to use everything in that movement to try and smoke screen anything else, That's all I see been going on. Just that, how many times do I look at a news channel and see that fucking, the noose hanging from what was his name's, NASCAR locker, which is insane. But, it's like there's so much other things that are being outed right now, that could be shared,
dude, the whole thing with that situation is, one, you're going to tell me that there's not a security camera outside of his multi-million dollar garage.
It was, and it was actually said that there was no charges because it was in there for like 6 months before he even got there, before that was even his garage.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so nobody even
how the fuck did they know it was going to be his fucking garage?
Nobody even knew it was going to be his garage. It was just there.
And it was just there 6 months before the only black NASCAR driver.
That's what,
Dude, that's where the whole
Cousin Lenny, bud.
Well, not even Cousin Lenny. It's like there's a distinct name that you can put on anyone being able to like doubt that and how it happened. And his name is Jussie Smollett.
Oh yeah.
And that's when people would ask me about that shit. I would just be like, dude, honestly, if that truly happened the way that it happened, that's fucked up. But now that you're telling me this information, there's no fucking way that happened.
Right.
And it's just a fucking another Jussie Smollett case.
Well, and he wasn't even the guy to report it. It was the crew members were.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know a whole lot about it, but the first thing I heard was it's really hard for me to believe when celebrities get hate crimes and death threats after Jussie Smollett. And it's literally the fucking boy who cried wolf on that kind of.
Mm-hmm. And so we have a little podcast bunny or whatever. Just
chilling. Bunny or a mouse?
That's a mouse.
A mouse.
No, that's a little bunny, bro.
We have a little baby podcast bunny chilling.
I just saw your eyes light up. I thought a spider was about to land.
I was super happy. It was super cute. This buddy's just trying to get in. He wants to be in the podcast. But no, that shit's whether it's true or not. I mean, the story gets put over anything else like that. I swear to God, in the span of like 3 days, the only news story I saw when I would look at a TV, once a day, I don't even know where, was about that, and there's so much other shit going on. We have like little things going on.
Yeah, they had their third aggravated assault involving a firearm in CHOP, which we talked about last week when it was called Chaz, and now they're called CHOP. But yeah, they had their third gun crime in CHOP.
Awesome.
But they don't talk about that.
Yeah.
They don't talk about that. They don't talk about. I mean, you got a whole bunch of juicy info. Talk about fucking Danny Masterson. Talk about him or something. Talk about anyone else.
Well, they can't because that involves the Church of Scientology covering everything up, and they can't talk about that. The BBC tried, and they got shut down by the Church of Scientology.
I would not want to go against the Church of Scientology.
I will. I'll take them on. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, maybe I think it's probably scarier to be in there and then try and leave. Like, I've heard some fucked up shit, but yeah, I don't know. Scientology, I don't even want to. I don't want to get near
Tom Cruise knocking on my door late at night, dude.
I'm more afraid of him jumping on my fucking couch.
Tom Cruise will kill couches. He is not afraid.
But yeah, when I talk about corporate censorship, I more lean towards like the social media. Is kind of what I wanted to delve
how many
into.
times have you been 24-hour banned from Facebook?
I don't know. I actually know someone that just had that happen to him the other day.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it happens a lot.
What are they getting? Just posting
for stuff that you're just sharing. Even you share something in there.
I mean, I always thought they just took stuff down. I swear to God, every post that was, was it the Obamagate or what? I can't remember what it was that every video was just getting taken down. Like you couldn't.
Most likely, yeah.
Censorship.
I couldn't remember, but yeah, it's actually insane.
So, before we get into Facebook and Twitter and shit like that. So Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, said that they were actively going to censor people who are posting coronavirus stuff that wasn't in line with the World Health Organization or the CDC or Dr. Fauci. So if you call Dr. Fauci a liar on Facebook, or not Facebook, on YouTube, like your shit was going to be censored.
Right.
Interesting.
Maybe that was it when it was people were talking about Fauci that sorry, AJ, yeah, he just keeps coming back. It's hard to
He's
not
up
just
there,
get
dude. He's just chilling, dude.
He's
You look every
hungry.
time and he fucking just runs away.
Yeah.
He's
Anyways,
scared of the hair, man.
I know. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. Like every time people try and post it, I can't believe how, and especially now that YouTube's
It's
doing
like
it.
they actively said that they are going to be taking it down. Like it's not even like they used to talk about shadow banning and shadow censorship and stuff like that, and shadow like they would remove YouTube followers, and we're talking about this live on YouTube, so who knows what the fuck's about to happen to this video, but still, like they were saying, you're gonna get strikes on your channel, and it's like a 3-strike you're out system,
right?
and and then fucking Dr. Fauci comes out and says that the CDC and he himself actively lied. This is last week, I think it was Friday or Thursday or Friday. He said, yeah, we actively lied about the use of face masks in corona cases to keep people from buying fucking face masks.
So that, to try and say that,
he's like, we wanted to save them for the healthcare workers.
Which,
like, or are you trying to get more people sick so your job is more fucking relevant?
But what was he asked? What was he asked? But I didn't see. I saw the clip of him, like, talking about it. What was he asked?
Well, we can just play the clip. It doesn't have the question asked, but it starts out with him being like, back to your first question, which I'm guessing is him retracting his statement about face coverings. Right, because he came out and he's like, well, because he actively came out during the protests and was saying, if you're in the protest, wear a face mask. And people were like, wait, but you said wearing face masks if you're asymptomatic doesn't matter. And this is his responses.
Now, getting back to your first question, which was, what about a month or so or 2 or 3 ago, when people were saying, you don't really need to wear a mask? Well, the reason for that is that we were concerned, the public health community, and many people were saying this, were concerned that it was at a time when personal protective equipment, including the N95 masks and the surgical masks, were in very short supply. And we wanted to make sure that the people, namely the healthcare workers, who were brave enough to put themselves in harm's way to take care of people who were infected with the coronavirus and the danger of them getting infected, we did not want them to be without the equipment that they needed.
So in short, what he's saying is that they lied on purpose, or he lied on purpose using his he's been in that position for over 40 years, where he's like the head physician at the CDC or wherever the fuck he is. He's been in that position for 40 years. So who knows what the fuck else he lied about, but he's literally saying, yeah, I lied, but it was to protect healthcare workers. It's like, do you understand? Like, you're telling people you don't need, like, and this is the first month of the pandemic.
Right.
And people aren't allowed to fucking scrutinize any opinion you have on social media at fear of getting fucking blocked, banned, or censored.
Right.
And then he actively comes out 3 months later and says, yeah, no, we lied on purpose so that people wouldn't be buying up face masks.
I mean, in my mind, now let me just, the idea of if you were trying to protect your healthcare workers, and let's say I was I was in charge of everything. I was the, mastermind behind it all. I would I'd kind of think the same of, I think it's important to have important people have masks, but I wouldn't say it. He says it on video. He just admits it. Like he just admits it. Like
the thing is
so fucked.
The fucking director of the CDC or whoever the fuck is in charge in keeping like a general, and even if it's like a private practice kind of thing, where there should be someone in charge that there are medical supplies stocked up that we're not getting shipped over from other countries every single fucking month.
Right.
And that's why when we were talking about the coronavirus coming to America, I said, whoever's in charge of that or whoever should be in charge of that needs to fucking resign right now, because they fucking failed at their job, and they have the same job as a CEO. When a company fucks up, the CEO is there. They get overpaid to take responsibility for everything, and they fucking leave with a severance package. That person needs to leave without a fucking severance package. If it's Dr. Fauci or whoever the fuck it is, Like they need to fucking go.
Yeah.
Like they do not need to be sitting. If there was such a shortage on surgical masks that you told people not to wear masks in public,
Right.
your job, in my opinion, shouldn't exist. You should not have that job anymore. Your retirement package should be given to
boxes and boxes. And
how
boxes
long ago did they say YouTube? How long did you say ago the CEO said
3 months ago, like
when
at the start of the pandemic, and they said if you talk out against the World Health Organization or the CDC or Dr. Fauci, I think those were the 3 bullet points that she pointed out. She's like, your shit will be blocked, your shit will be shadow banned, and that is just because YouTube is where 90% of people under the age of 40 get their news is from YouTube.
What's now when we talk about what platform versus publisher, does that, I mean, I can't remember, were they a publisher before?
But I think we get more into that when we start bringing up Facebook and Twitter.
But YouTube technically, I mean, have they, I mean, they might have
YouTube, that's, man, I feel like it shouldn't be different, but I feel like it is in a way. Like, I believe that it is different in a way to where they have
the rights over your content.
Well, they have the rights over your content, which I mean, shit, no, just even you saying that just makes me realize, no, they're a fucking publisher. They're not a platform. They're a publisher.
I mean, that's where I'm like, I wonder what other stuff that they've censored.
The only difference between a platform and a publisher in law in America is a publisher is held liable for lawsuits, which is why people can, like Ann Coulter can print whatever the fuck, like Adios America about illegal immigrants invading the country, and she doesn't have to worry about a lawsuit from a DACA family. Whereas a platform is, if she were to put that out on something classified as a platform legally, she would have to worry herself about being sued because it's in her contract through a publisher is that they cover lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a lawyer, but it doesn't take a fucking genius to figure out, you know, like I learned the difference between the two from watching the C-SPAN with Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook and just like 10 other clips or 10 other. It doesn't, you don't have to go to law school to know the difference.
But
I guess is what I'm saying.
I mean, I think we always said, didn't we? I mean, platform is where you're not censored, but you can be sued.
Right. So a platform has no right to censor you through fear of being sued because the person that posts on the platform is running the risk of being sued.
So,
whereas a publisher,
YouTube would be a platform because, like, say Logan Paul does something, Logan Paul will get sued.
Yeah, no, you're right, man, dude. My brain is
we always talked about publisher versus platform. I think is basically one is where you can be censored and one is where you can't be.
Yeah, correct.
But the suing part, that brings in some interesting.
That's where my knowledge on the law falls off. Is when you start getting sued. Well, fortunately, we have libel insurance.
Yeah. Yep.
But don't sue us,
please. We don't have any money.
Can we sue ourselves? Like, does our insurance cover it?
Like, Dylan just goes like, I don't like what AJ said last week on the podcast. I'm going to sue his ass. No, it's just like, we're on platform only. Whereas if we ran the show on Facebook, I would argue that Facebook is a publisher where they actively censor and ban people.
Right. And so if someone were to get, but then how would that work if someone were to get somehow sued on, like, Facebook would block it though. That's what stops someone from getting sued, right? Is because Facebook blocked it. But if Facebook didn't block it and someone got sued, could they blame that on Facebook?
Well, the funniest thing that I know about is, so Twitter has started fact checking Trump, and we might have mentioned this.
Yeah. Very little, but
they started, and this whole episode is about talking about shit like this. So Facebook or Twitter started fact checking Trump in real time every time he tweets, and they put like corrections on his tweets and stuff like that, actively censoring and editing what he's saying, which is something that a publisher does, and which I think that's fucking hilarious. In that is that it's Trump getting Twitter and Facebook to get their because his response, which I also find fucking hilarious, because it's like all they had to do was just ignore him and let people tell him that he's fucking wrong. Right. But instead, as a company, they have actively gone out and corrected him, which is a publisher move. And so his response is saying he's actively trying to remove their protection in legal status as a platform and make them a publisher. Yeah. Which it's true.
And that's what they were trying to do. Like, what was it, like last year, 2 years ago? They were trying to go after Facebook for the publisher
for attacking
platform
conservatives.
Yeah,
but don't we? I mean, isn't that where we like? Isn't that kind of? I mean, it's funny, but
I don't think it's scary. I don't think it's scary because it's okay. So what do you have outside of?
But it's just algorithm, right? It's
well. What do you have to talk about with mass groups of people outside of Facebook and Twitter? Like, I think YouTube's a whole different thing.
Signal.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, where there's people you went to high school with actively talking about shit.
I mean, that's the thing. You got to get like Signal and stuff like that.
I don't. So what?
Well, yeah, but that's not addressing the. That's a cure. That's a cure to the problem. It's not addressing the problem that's actively happening.
And it's not really like the same thing either. Like, it's more like a messenger group.
Like I have two apps on my phone that have messaging groups that are censor free and shit like that.
It's more of a message.
But it's not somewhere where you can have a conversation. Like, dude, like there's people that I think you're the only person I know on one of them, and the rest of them is just like random people. But you can have an active conversation in your community on Facebook and Twitter,
right?
And that's where it starts getting sketchy, where they're censoring people, but they're still protected under the law as a platform and not a publisher. But they're actively attacking certain points of view.
That's where that's where I'm saying it's like,
and like when it was like right wing shit, I'm like, okay, well, it's a left wing platform. You need to find a right wing platform to talk to people. Like, it's whatever. You can fight it in economics. You can fight it economically. But now that it's shit like you can't talk ill about the World Health Organization and stuff like that, when Dr. Fauci's actively admitting that he lied,
I think something
that's where I like when I saw that fucking clip, my brain exploded, and I'm like, so you're gonna tell me that you're gonna censor someone because they said like medical professionals disagreeing with him, not even people like me, where I don't know the difference between an anus hole and a vagina hole. I just know that one gets girl pregnant and the other doesn't. But
and they were censoring those two doctors. Like I was watching this one video of these two doctors that were saying, no, that's not true. These masks aren't going to do anything. You know, you can fart through fucking 2 layers of clothing and you can still smell that motherfucker.
Well, the thing about the mask was it wasn't for your protection. It was for the people around you. Right. It was to help increase the odds of you asymptomatically spreading it. But Dr. Fauci and the CDC openly lied and said, no, you're not, like, the spread of it asymptomatically is so small that it's not even measurable. When a lot of the people that got it asymptomatically. I know 4 people. Like I know like probably like I can name off 100 people off the top of my head because I think that's like there's this thing called I can't remember.
The internet?
It's like it's like you can only put name to face with like 100 to 250 people off the top of your head without seeing a picture of the person. Maybe I could do 100, but still, like, I know 4. So that's 4 out of 100. That's higher than the bell curve that they had planned of people, or the CDC said people asymptomatically could get it.
Right.
And they all got it asymptomatically.
And
I know one person that had symptoms, and he had symptoms for like 12 hours. And I was staying right next to him when he had, like, he was like, I was working with him, and he was like, dude, I can barely stand up. I was like, you need to go fucking home, like, right now. And then he's like, 2 days later, said his brother tested positive for corona. And after he was able to walk again, because he wasn't able to, like, legit walk for 12 to 15 hours, he was like, yeah, I went to the doctors today. I just tested positive. And I heard about that on a phone call. I was like, yeah, he looked like he had what I understand is coronavirus. And he tested positive for it, but after the 12 hours that he was showing symptoms, he was fucking like asymptomatic.
Mm-hmm.
He was only symptomatic for like 12 hours. And that's the only one out of 5 people that I know have had it. He was the only one that showed symptoms. Only one that got it from someone that didn't show symptoms but showed symptoms. It's like we don't know what this disease or virus is. They still don't know. And the fact that no one can ask questions in fear of censorship is bullshit.
Well, because you have all these doctors that are, people are sharing around and doing all these things like, oh, this doctor said this and this doctor said that. I'm like, I don't care if 2 different doctors have different viewpoints. I want to be able to know both of what I want to know
which
all
one makes
sides.
me fucking safer.
Which one makes more sense? I mean, the fact that you're saying, like, I don't know, that's fucked up. Government is supposed to be the people, for the people, not to lie to you and pull that kind of crap.
This guy's the chief doctor at the CDC or whatever the fuck his job is.
Yeah.
I still don't know. He was just Trump's fucking COVID-19 fact checker until I found out that he's had his job for 40 years. I literally thought he was just there to correct Donald Trump when he said some dumb shit about coronavirus. And then I found out he's had the job for 40 years. Dude, that's longer than most people hold.
What
did anyone post that?
Who was president 40
Someone
years
should
ago?
post that video. If you haven't already, someone should get that video on like Twitter or something. That just
Who was president?
It's probably already. It's all over. Yeah.
But it's all over Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
That shit needs to be shared like nonstop because people do not give a fuck. They'll see something, get real butt hurt and shit, and then just move on to something else.
Well, it's just like if you're gonna get butt hurt over a guy saying that he intentionally lied, which made your life more dangerous, or like you put your life in more jeopardy. Like, can you imagine? Like, so this is where I was saying earlier that the person in charge of the CDC or whoever is in charge of hospital standards and regulations, which I know there's a lot of private hospitals, which I think is good, but not with the healthcare system that we have now. Whoever's in charge of their regulations, the storage facilities in hospitals, which I know are fucking ginormous. I've been in rundown hospitals that they turn into hotels and shit like that. Like it's not acceptable that there was an amount of masks that made the CDC and the chief practitioner in the country on infectious diseases have to lie to the public.
Right.
And that's where I'm saying someone needs to lose their job. Someone needs to do their pension, whatever the fuck is in it, should go to families that couldn't have funerals for their loved ones during this whole thing. Right. I know a girl that grew up down the street from me. They couldn't have a funeral for her dad who died at age like maybe 52 years old. Like he's my dad's age, died of cancer. They couldn't have a fucking funeral for him because doctors like Fauci were lying about how infectious this disease was, or lying about how to be able to be in groups of people without spreading it.
I mean, you say whoever is in charge needs to be just fired without a pension, but I mean, is this something to blame on a person, or is this something that our government was just like this is, I mean, that like, isn't that who's in charge of all that? The CDC, the WHO, like, aren't they the ones pulling those strings? Or like, yeah, I mean, it's not just one person's job. But I mean, aren't they controlled by, other people as well? Like, wouldn't having to find the person to blame for this be way higher? Like, than you could. I mean, yeah, I get it. Fire him, fucking make his life miserable, but that guy's untouchable, right? Like that guy, whoever's pulling those strings is way up there.
See, at my job, whenever things get fucked up, I always just blame the new guy.
Damn it, cousin Lenny. Maybe we're looking at the wrong guy. Maybe cousin Lenny isn't to blame. Maybe we need to go like a step further.
Well, when we talked about in our episode, Bill Gates is a sociopath. He's literally the person that's able to pull strings at the WHO.
Mm-hmm.
Is he untouchable? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, we talked about, remember when I said that his partner and who he was working with was that he was on the news saying, I think me and my wife could very well be the patient zero for the whole U.S. coronavirus because we took a picture next to this guy from fucking wherever the fuck, but Wuhan. But I'm like, bro, like, yeah, who would be the guy that needs to be fucking just stripped, and just thrown in jail? Fucking Bill Gates. Get that guy out of here.
Yeah, well, and he should be tried for crimes against humanity worldwide.
Other people, it's blown my mind to see how many people actually are like sharing about Bill Gates too. And I'm just like, bro,
it makes me happy.
Yeah, no,
it makes
same,
me super happy.
Same. I'm like, man, I've never seen you post anything, but now you're just sharing this. That's awesome. That's one of our number one enemies.
I think one of my proudest moments after the podcast was you got home and I was like, hey, Mateo, look at this Link Dylan shirt on this girl's Facebook post about coronavirus. And it was literally when we did Bill Gates as a sociopath. Like, you should see what he did in Central Africa.
Oh,
because it is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. And India too, dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
No one with the last name Gates can go to fucking India. It's so bad. Like he did so many. He was literally testing pregnant women and their children were coming out deformed with this disease-defending drug where he was like, I don't know what the fuck it does.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, he's using other countries as, experiments, like that's completely fucked up.
Now he wants to use America as an experiment.
Oh no! I think that's.
Do you think that was? I will go to jail. I would rather shoot myself in the fucking head than to take a vaccine created by the fucking Gates Foundation.
If they gave me a bunch of steroids, I'd probably take them.
I'm not taking anything the Gates Foundation were to give me. No, there's no fucking way.
It's so scary because you have all these people who are like, you got to have your vaccines, you got to be vaccinated. But it's like, I'm like, yeah, I totally think vaccines are important, just not when they're created by Bill Gates.
We always joke about how the Clintons are scary, and they're scary to people on our level. Where we actively talk out against the Clintons and shit like that. Their kill count is nothing. Epstein was on the Bill Gates level of where Bill Gates and Melinda Gates were on his jet, like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. He's in the black book.
Yeah, he's on the black book. Went down to the Lolita Express. Like, went to Little St. Paul. Is that the name of the island? Little St. John, something like that. I think Little St. John or Little St. Paul, but. Dude, he was there. He's been around human slave trade. He's been around human sex trafficking, and he's apparently the highest producer in the World Health Organization's use of vaccines, where he's been banned from going to several countries. And the fact that the Congress is even acknowledging his, I think I can make a vaccine for this using my blood. Are you fucking kidding?
He said using his blood? What?
Yeah, he wanted to create a vaccine because he thought he was patient zero for the strain that was taking over America.
My God.
Where in America, the West Coast got hit by the China strain from the Chinese migration or Chinese travel to the West Coast, like California, Washington, shit like that. And then New York got hit by the European strain, the Spanish strain, where they were calling it COVID Spain 19 or some shit like that. Like it was like New York got ravaged by a mutated strain from what the Chinese had because it made its way to Spain and then it came to New York. And they had a way higher death count per populace. But then you can't even believe the death count.
Yeah, I was gonna say because
because when we were at the beach the other day, my sister's friend came up to my sister and was talking to Matea and my sister and was like, yeah, like we were literally getting paid. We were getting a check every time someone died of coronavirus.
Yep.
And so a lot of these deaths of coronavirus were like someone died of a heart attack. No, they died of coronavirus. Shit like that.
Exactly.
Bullet wound. No, you tested positive for corona. You died of corona. You got shot in the head. Died of corona. Are you fucking kidding me?
You can do it. You can.
It's insurance fraud.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, it's this should be the largest scale of insurance fraud this country has seen since the mafia died in the 20s.
Damn. I don't think it'll ever
and
come
when
to that.
when I
Nobody
say
will
the
ever
mafia
find that,
died, I mean like the Al Pacino. Fuck, that's an actor.
Capone.
Al Capone, yeah. The Al Capone style mafia died. This is the largest scale of insurance fraud that the country has ever seen. But if you talk about it on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, you guess what? You're probably going to get shadow banned or shadow blocked.
Yeah.
Which I mean, if for the people that are watching live, like enjoy it while it lasts. I know the audio version is going to stay strong because Spotify doesn't censor shit, iTunes doesn't censor shit, and SoundCloud doesn't censor shit.
Yep.
But if you want to watch the video, maybe we'll have to re-upload it. Maybe that's a thing.
Dude, we can do that.
But I really think that this video, this live stream might get fucking just taken down. And that's kind of the idea. That's like the Renaissance resistance way of I wanted to do this on this show is do an episode that might get fucking taken down.
Dude, I actually would be, if we got taken down, that'd be fucking kind of like, I'd be like, yeah, we had a whole show. I mean, I don't know. I want it to stay up. But I mean, it's going to be there. Everyone can listen in on it.
Yeah.
I hope Facebook.
I mean, the show itself won't get taken down. Just this one show will.
Right. But this one episode, yeah. From YouTube. They're going to be like, no way. To the 40 views you guys will get in the next day. That's all you're getting. Good thing we usually get a good amount of views within the, releasing the episode. So, yeah. I mean, we'll get usually a decent amount from YouTube and then they'll take it down. Facts are out there, okay? YouTube, fuck you.
Yeah,
we hate you.
That's the thing.
But also,
well, that's the thing. We watched Dr. Fauci admit that he fucking lied on YouTube,
right?
Yeah.
And then YouTube can strike this this video down, or this live stream down. Like, I mean, it's more than just a video, but this live stream, they can strike the live stream down because we called out Dr. Fauci for lying because he's literally fucking untouchable on their platform.
Yeah.
Or their publishing site, which I still agree with Michael, where if someone wants to, we have to legally defend ourselves on YouTube. Yeah. Whereas on Twitter and Facebook, it's just, you're just kind of done.
Yeah.
But it's so fucked up. Like, it's so fucking, the structural dynamic of it. Dude, YouTube used to be about cat videos, and then shows started coming out, and now it's just
it's everything.
And now we're here. Do you know how much we'd rather be talking about playing video games
or cats?
But but we're passionate about this. Like, I mean,
this is fun.
Wholeheartedly. It's just at what point can you not question something?
Yeah, you gotta question everything.
And I know, like, all three of us kind of get into it over questioning some crazy shit, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. It's weird, Like,
right.
It's just, when Fox News and CNN agree, I get scared.
Damn.
Shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 2020 is definitely a fucking weird fucking year. I'm glad we had those predictions. I don't remember what we fucking said. I was pretty drunk.
Dude, we hit quite a few of them.
and it's only fucking what, like 6 months in.
I think it's easy to just be like, I think the reason we get so many things right is because we pretty much say the exact opposite of what's being told. And it's like, well, that wasn't that hard to guess, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
kind of.
You know what I mean? I mean, I don't think it's the problem that it's hard to guess. I think it's the problem that people don't even think about it. You know what I mean? Like, no one thinks, you know, no one breaks that barrier and says, you know, they're completely wrong. I don't know.
I think the only thing that we were wrong about is we trusted the wrong side on Venezuela. I think that's the only thing we've ever been wrong about on the show is like
Wait, what?
We also thought
it was just me and Dylan. You're in Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
We also thought about the gun rally. I think we thought someone was going to be planted, and that shit was going to go kind of, you know, wild. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Virginia.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
But I
still
mean,
more rallies to come.
when I was in the interview before it happened. We did the show after it happened. But
right.
But,
yeah. So I mean,
before that, we were talking like, dude, this is gonna be a powder keg.
Right.
I actually think I want to take back when I say like, you know, it's just looking at the opposite of what's going on. I don't think that really explains how you get things right as much as I feel like you're almost just kind of guessing what's kind of like the craziest, not the craziest thing that could happen, but what's wild, what's the most in our head, like what's wild, what's probably like what's a wild thing that's happening.
What are things that are going on that they want to hide?
I mean, it just seems like you know, when it comes up, it's guessing like, it's like what's the most, what's one of the craziest things that could be happening?
You take it to the extreme.
You want to know.
It's like we're literally saying things to the extreme, and you know,
you want to know what I
think
it is? I think all these race riots, all these everything else that's going on in the media right now, I think it's just all trying to fucking cover up the pedophilia and everything like that.
Oh, I agree to an extent, but yeah. I want these. I just got in an argument with my sister the other day. I was like, because she's like, Joe Rogan is canceled was trending on Twitter the other morning.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. And I was just like, yeah, but why? And she like played a clip, and it was like, he's asking why there's not someone in charge of the movement to make progress. I was like,
yeah,
you're looking at him as someone to attack because he doesn't believe in your movement, but that's not what he's fucking saying. He's saying you need someone in charge to demand shit. Like that's the only way a movement ever progresses forward is if you fucking demand shit.
Yep. And you see what they do.
And we talked about it the other day, and you have to start demanding shit, and people need to start giving it to you. Like you don't back down until you get your list of demands.
Like I feel like you can't, like you've got Chaz and shit, and it's like, I mean, or other, not just necessarily
it's
that,
Chop
but
now.
Chop, but yeah, you can't just be someone who expects to just, you can't just, not necessarily saying throwing a fit, but like as a person in a relationship, you can't just be unhappy with the other person and expect them to know. You know, you can't feel like that's working, right. Even though so many people do. They just decide to get pouty and bitchy, and instead of and think that the other people are going to be like, oh wow, they're really passionate. I don't know what to give them because they're just out there fucking shit up and just, you know, protesting. Like I mean, I understand what they want. Like it's easy to kind of understand what they want, but like you said, you need to have shit. You have to word it and everything too, because it's got to go through law and shit like that. Like if you're trying to actually change laws and shit, you can't just, I don't know, you know what I mean? You can't just say, you know, we need to fix the problems.
The easiest way to change laws is get rid of them.
I mean, do anything.
Dude, I saw your post on Facebook today. Like fucking the shit that Rand Paul was posting. If he's alive in 6 months,
what was it? What did he say? I think I remember seeing.
He said, what was it? The best way to deal with racial inequality is to repeal 1913.
Oh yeah,
the bill of 1913.
No, fucking, I can't remember what that was, dude.
It's the fuck. What is it called? It's
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah, do that. But no, it's just like, dude, I literally almost commented, I can't wait to see when he dies. Because that's the realistics of fucking U.S. politics. It's
That's the Revenue Act.
The Kennedys built their career on de-establishing the mafia after the mafia got them elected. And then through their assassination, the U.S. government became the fucking mafia. People think the mafia is gone. It's fucking not. There's no way the mafia is gone.
Well, the mafia is just the government now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's because in 1913, they established the federal income tax in the United States, and
Yeah, he wanted to repeal federal income tax and the Federal Reserve.
Woodrow Wilson.
The federal income tax and the Federal Reserve. That's the law. It protected the Federal Reserve and the federal income tax in the same bill. Now I remember it. I just needed to hear federal, and it came back to me.
Yeah.
But it's, dude, if he's actively seeking out against that, he's not going to be around much longer. He's going to die of a heart attack through strangulation or some dumb shit like that. Like,
he's going to die. He's going to strangle himself with 2 bullet wounds to the back of his head.
Yeah, or hang himself from a ceiling fan in a hotel room like Chester Bennington with 4 broken ribs.
Yeah. I don't ever tell people to believe it, but I'm like, don't always just disprove something,
I tell a lot of people don't like Jarrell, my little homeboy. Like, I tell him, like, he was like, "Oh, this would have been fixed if we got another year of Obama," and I was like, "Obama didn't fix shit for the black community. Obama didn't do fucking anything."
Why didn't Obama recognize Juneteenth as an official holiday?
Yeah.
Because
it was my birthday.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But it's just like we had a black president for 8 years and nothing racially changed. He didn't make an official statement during Ferguson under his rule in 2014. He didn't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
He literally sat back and did nothing and gave Citibank, Wall Street bailouts, gave fucking Raytheon so much money that their eyes started spinning.
Took a bunch of video clips of him shooting a basketball.
Yeah.
So
that was about half the videos I saw. I was probably actually more of it. It was so weird in Obama's presidency of how much you see him playing basketball over other shit. Straight up. I mean, is
it better to mask the public with this persona of a government, this figure of a government, to make and not let the civilians know about what's going on, or is it better to let them know what's going on and be mad about it?
Dude,
I mean, for us, it's for the civilians. It's better for us to know what's going on so we could fucking fix it. But for them, it's better for them to stay,
what was it?
Hidden.
Was it last week or the week before? Dylan asked me to finally fully explain what happened in Libya. With like the slave trade and shit like that. And it's just like, dude, if you as a black citizen think Obama was such a saving grace, and I mean, I know there's a lot of people that do, but when I talk to them one-on-one, they're like, man, that guy's Jarrell, I literally took this 17-year-old kid with no parents under my wing, and he was like, dude, he's kind of a piece of shit for that when I explained Libya to him. And I'm like, yeah. And then he ran out of bombs in 2013, ran out of bombs. Like, he was Raytheon's number one fucking proponent.
Right.
Or their number one source of money.
If I would have known what stocks were in 2010, I would have
put a lot of money into Raytheon.
Put a lot of money into Raytheon.
I mean, yeah, I wonder.
Even before that, fucking George Bush. So George Bush Jr. had more spending, like Department of Defense spending, than fucking Obama did. And then Nancy Pelosi gives fucking Trump more than Bush had. It's like the reason they ran out of bombs kind of is because the Republican Congress was like, no, you can't have any more money for fucking bombs. Right. And so they went on a 3-month. There were 3 months where the United States had no fucking bombs. Do you understand how fucking vulnerable that made us for 3 months? Where we couldn't afford to buy a fucking bomb?
Damn.
I mean, but we say that it's.
And then Nancy Pelosi's like, yeah, you can have 2 million more than Mitch McConnell gave you. Or not Mitch McConnell. Whoever the fuck the Speaker of the House was when Trump got elected, when the Republicans took over everything and still didn't fucking do anything. Like, that's where you need to realize you're in a.
They're playing both sides.
Like,
of the
yeah,
fucking ball
you're in a
game,
fucking
baby.
shell game where you're in the shell and everyone's outside of the shell and they're like, let's see how much more money we can get. And they're poking holes. Imagine you're a fucking chicken and they're just fucking poking holes in your eggshell. That's what a shell game is. And they're just fucking with you. They're literally fucking with your daily life on both sides under the same donators.
Right.
The same guy.
The same the people donating, you'll see, like, what was it that we looked up how much donating how much money they donated to both parties? And yeah, one party might have more donations to it, but there's still companies. I can't remember exactly what I was watching, but they're doing
blanket
both
companies.
sides.
It's
They're doing
blanket
both
com-
sides.
So Boeing will donate X amount to the fucking Democrats and X amount to the Republicans.
Right.
And then Raytheon donates way more to the Republicans and X amount to and it's the same basically the same fucking company. Boeing, you think they make your JetBlue fucking aircraft travelers and stuff like that? No, they also make the B-52 bombers, or not B-52 because those were like in the World War II era, but they make your stealth
They still
bombers.
make B-52. Oh wait, no. Do they?
I don't think so.
Maybe like the B-52-5
I'm
super series.
I'm pretty sure the only operating B-52 bomber is at the Air Force base in
there's
Colorado.
like 4 or 5 of them, and there's one that comes to
Maybe.
fucking Iowa every couple of times.
At the games, that's a stealth bomber.
Nope, it's like it doesn't come to the games. It goes just to Waterloo Airport.
Oh, I don't know, but it's still like Boeing makes the planes that drop the bombs that Raytheon builds. And so you think they're not getting donations from the same fucking company.
Right.
No, technically they're not, but they are.
Right. On paper, it shows the Republican support. It's like, wow, that's a lot. You still might have some, money going into the Democrats, but I don't know. It's just weird. That was weird to me. I don't know what other countries or companies are super Republican and don't donate anything to the Democrats. But to me, it just seems like you said there, it's like for them, they could do it where they don't have to donate. It doesn't have to show at all, that they're supporting the other side.
And it's just like getting money from Boeing is you're receiving money from people that are building planes that are dropping the bombs that Raytheon builds. Like the Helix bombs and the Moabs and shit like that.
Dude, so I just kind of looked up Nancy Pelosi on Open Secrets or whatever, and her grand total of contributions in this cycle from 2019 to 2020 is $3.6 million, and most of it is from Walt Disney.
Well, yeah, and we don't get to know what the amount of money that her husband makes through these trade deals that she knows about.
Right. That's just crazy amount of money for what?
And if you try and say anything, then it'll get taken down.
Yeah, and that's why we're talking about fucking censorship.
I think the one nice thing, though, I'd say is I know the censorship sucks, but hopefully for them, it sucks that they're censoring shit about Fauci, but thank God you still have a bunch of other topics to bring up and talk about that they aren't really I'd assume they're looking for keywords and they're having people watch stuff, but there's other topics that are
literally tagging Fauci in this video. I literally already have tagged Fauci in the live stream. I'm going to tag it and everything else. And that will prove if this fucking live stream gets taken down and if we get a strike on our channel, it'll prove that they are. All we're talking about is how he admitted that he lied.
Right. But that'd be actually kind of tight if
it's kind of like a martyrship, but not really. But at the same time, it's us proving a point that they're literally censoring even people talking about how he lied about health services.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's something we're gonna see more of what are our biggest. I can't remember what's our biggest platforms that we have right now. Is it 8chan?
Oh, biggest like off the radar platforms. I think 8chan, yeah. 4chan's kind of dead. It's been
Right.
infiltrated.
So is 8chan's
way
kind
more
of
secure. 8chan, Reddit's pretty secure. We do have a Reddit channel.
What about
I've
Twitter?
never
I can't
talked
remember
about it.
because Twitter. What was it? Are they blocking
Twitter-
stuff on Twitter right now?
Yeah.
Because they're. I mean,
Yeah, they
they were saying they were a platform,
actively. Yeah.
right? They
Yeah.
weren't saying they were a publisher, but if they're like now, Trump's trying to get them to say that they're a publisher. Would that help though? Would that help people realize that Twitter, if they do have to say that they're a publisher,
He's not even trying to say it. He has actively said that they are a publisher, and he's stripping them of their rights as a platform.
can he? What does he have to go through? Do you know what he would have to go through to do that?
We talked about it more than once. Fucking the presidents in the last 12 years have gotten more bills passed through executive order
Yep.
than
Right.
Which executive order doesn't mean anything.
it just means it's enacted in law until I don't even know what.
I don't think executive orders mean anything. I
No,
don't know.
executive order gave us Obamacare, didn't it?
I don't know.
Or did that? No, that passed. That passed through Congress, which was the same healthcare that fucking Mitt Romney was going to give us because it's planned by Citibank. It's a Republican healthcare. It wasn't Medicare for all.
Wait, the one that Mitt Romney was giving us, or is the same?
It's gonna be the same
that
fucking thing.
same bank that, or not bank,
Same healthcare program.
that Obama did for Medicare.
Yeah, it's a right wing healthcare plan from supposedly progressive liberal president. The only thing that I hate about this whole movement that's going on right now, though, is there's two things that I hate about the thing I'm about to say. So Sean King, the guy, he's like the most notably leader in Black Lives Matter. Or he's like was the original leader in Ferguson and shit like that of BLM, and he's asking Catholic churches to take down their statues of white Jesus, which I have always joked about. Jesus was never white,
Right.
And shit like that.
I mean, dude, that was a huge phase. I think people really had so much fun with that one. You know, they posted that shit everywhere. Like I remember when that was like the big new
like
hot
in 2012. Like it's like when we were in high school, and I was just like, dude, like, but they're letting a guy in blackface. Like Sean King is a white guy. He went to college, check the box, Caucasian, all this shit, and he does. He's a leader of BLM in blackface, and people just ignore that. And then the leader of the NAACP is a chick in blackface that claims that she's transracial. And they're the ones that have popularized Jesus wasn't white. And I'm so fucking annoyed about it because I've been saying that for so many years.
I'm so wait. So they actually
and now I can't call Obama Black Jesus because everyone's talking about Black Jesus.
So they're so wait. Hold on. They actually
really weird thing the other day about how it's supposedly how Jesus's dad was a Roman soldier and a Roman Jewish soldier or whatever like that, and it's like a really big conspiracy actually.
Dude, there's a lot of fucking crazy shit about Jesus, but I'm just saying. I'm upset in general about these people hijacked my fucking joke that I made so many years ago. Yeah. And now I can't call Obama Black Jesus anymore.
I wouldn't know anything about Jesus. I fucking sacrifice all my Bibles to Satan. So, yeah, I don't know.
See, that's why you just got to go to a lot of hotel rooms to get new ones.
That's what I that's why I got a new job working, cleaning hotel rooms, and I just steal all.
Oh, we need a new Bible for 666.
I don't know what's going on. People keep stealing all the Bibles.
No, it's just fucking, it's insane. I don't know. Like, but they're talking about like taking at this point, like, what's the fuck? Like, I get that there's a point in
Because they're trying, it's the same thing as whitewashing. They're trying to blackwash now.
Yeah, well, I get that, but it's like, what's the?
I mean, why are you trying to? I mean, it's just a real. I don't know.
You're gonna ruin fucking how many thousand? I mean, I guess I can't even say that because they're tearing down statues of Thomas Jefferson and shit. Do they want to take down a statue of Theodore Roosevelt outside of the fucking the Knighting Museum in New York?
Yeah.
They want to take down a statue of Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt, for those of you that don't know this, he was criticized for the rest of his life because he was the first president to invite a black man that was his friend to dinner in the White House. The first black person that entered the White House as a guest, Booker T. Washington.
Dang, is that how Booker T got his name?
Maybe.
Not WWE.
I don't know. WCW. Get your
WWF.
He was He was the first black world heavyweight champion in WCW, I think.
Oh shit.
Booker T. He was part of the what the fuck were they called? The Harlem Heat.
I don't even know.
I think
I didn't watch it like that.
No, I didn't watch it, but like I did. But I'm still a huge fan. I like pro wrestling. That's cool to watch.
I just want to get greased up and wrestle a bunch of men.
It's literally gymnastics with dudes that weigh 400 pounds. It's awesome to watch.
I never thought I always grew up thinking that WWE was stupid and I hated it. And then I can't remember what I watched. And then I know, AJ, you've shown me a few, many clips of like WWE stars that it like the storytelling or the storytelling and like that type of shit. I fucking loved it, man. Like it's
like watching a stunt actor, but like they're the star.
But this and then it's Donald like, Trump.
And they're allowed to be like, you can have a guy like turn around, just be like, and this stupid bitch, and the whole like I don't know. It's just the funny. It's so just I never really saw it as like I don't care. I still don't care. Like the wrestling's it's like they're doing flips and shit, but I think the best part is just the fucking stories. That like I don't know why that shit.
The stories are fun,
bro. No, they're not good anymore.
It's all monologue.
After fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin and all that shit.
This was old stuff. Like I don't watch. Like I honestly have not seen new guys. Stuff.
John Cena ripped like the new guy is. They're the new guy that's supposed to be like the face of the business is Dwayne The Rock Johnson's cousin. And John Cena literally just rips him in front of 100,000 people. He's like, if you want to be the face of the business, you got to get better at your fucking mic skills, bro. And then the crowd just goes like, oh, you fucking suck. You're a piece of shit.
Damn.
It's, I don't know. It's just wild.
No, but yeah. So Booker T. Johnson. Yeah. Booker T. Johnson was the first like black guy that was invited to the White House to eat dinner, and the Roosevelts were so fucking ridiculed about that for the rest of their lives. And we're talking about Teddy Roosevelt, the guy that made national parks, shit like that. They want to take his statue down.
Well, did you see the fucking 54th Regiment of Massachusetts fucking got their fucking commemorable fucking thing got fucking vandalized, and that was fucking only black. That was like one of the only black fucking units in the Civil War.
Yeah, like there was a movie made about it. Like in the Star Wars, Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, and that,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
They vandalized the memorial for it.
All free slaves.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone spray painted the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in DC.
Yeah, I saw that.
In the National
That
Mall.
was mostly just fucking like dead kids that were fucking, most of them were.
Like 18-year-old kids
that
never got found because they died in enemy territory.
Yep.
It got fucking
burned.
Vandalized. It's literally a statue of a lion laying on the American flag crying out in pain.
Yep. I saw that.
That's
fucked up.
Dude, I got that's the one that made me mad. The Teddy Roosevelt one, I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which is normally guarded by Marines every day, 24 hours a day, rain or sleet. And they had to call them off because the protests were coming in. They didn't want armed Marines guarding it.
Right.
And then it got defaced the first fucking day. That kind of pissed me off. Just because people like my grandpa's friends are in that situation.
Exactly, you know?
It's just like it's a KIA MIA memorial. It's like, what are they gonna fuck if we let them take over if we let protest groups take over the National Mall? Are they gonna? You guys probably have you guys haven't been to DC.
Nope.
You haven't seen the Vietnam Memorial where it's literally like 10-foot tall cast iron statues of soldiers in all platoon rain gear walking through Vietnam jungles, but it's in the shape of a V. It's supposed to commemorate the wall. Are we going to let them spray paint our fucking, even their grandfather's fucking names off the wall? Are we going to let them, what point?
They already did. On that one Vietnam wall of all the names or whatever, they spray painted that.
It's just like, at what point we're washing away the history of our country to do what? What?
I feel like people think sometimes that the history of the country is like, I feel like they're like saying, like that's why we face racism today is because that's how it was back in the day. And these people who are slave owners and like, yeah, that's bad. But it's like your real enemy isn't your enemy isn't the statues. Your enemy, you don't need to deface it. Like your enemy is your government. Like that's what's been fucking you over this whole time. And I mean, like I get like you're trying to, but it's like put your energy towards something more productive. I feel like if you really have the want to do something, fight it.
Well, there's this quote from 1984 or whatever that I posted the other day, and it says every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book has been rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and every street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except for the endless present in which the party is always right.
Well, the thing for me is if you try to erase
as in the government, Democrat,
whoever's in charge,
the thing to me is if you try to erase history, you're erasing how much of progress that your movement has gained, and on top of that, you're erasing how much. And I get that there is inequality, but it's
maybe put it instead of defacing it, tearing them down. Use it as a tool to educate and put signs up alongside it that say like this guy was a slave owner. He owned slaves. Yes, he did this, but he also, But it's like to me, it's
Stonewall Jackson or not? Was it? No, Thomas E. Lee was a Confederate soldier or a Confederate general. Never owned a slave. The only reason he fought in the Confederate side of the Civil War is because he didn't like the way that the North was bullying the South with because we have been paying fucking taxes after the Revolutionary War. That's what people don't understand. The INF, the IRS, where you currently pay taxes to, we're still paying taxes to the fucking INF, which is the Bank of Europe.
Yep. Paying it to the Queen.
And he was sick of the Northerners being rich and the Southerners being poor, and that's where the Revolutionary there was a lot of people that fought over their slaves. He didn't own a single fucking slave. He was the general of the Confederate Army.
They tore down the Ulysses S. Grant.
Yeah, he's the one that won the fucking
exactly. Yeah, what the fuck?
They're taking down Theodore Roosevelt, who
FDR as well. What the fuck? What? I don't understand.
That's what we were talking about the other day. You give them an inch, then they take a mile.
Yeah, you can't. I don't know. I mean, how do you try to?
I think Rand Paul is the only politician that's spoken out and being like, We need to shut this down before it gets way too bad.
Yeah.
It's already gotten way too bad.
Right.
Like, I get it when you're taking down Robert E. Lee statues in fucking South Carolina and shit like that. Like, actually, not Robert E. Lee. Who the fuck did they take down?
North Carolina.
South Carolina.
I don't know.
But anyway, when you're taking down, like, Confederate Union or Confederate people that own slaves. And that's my thing, like, where I'm kind of iffy with the whole Thomas Jefferson thing. Like, dude, that guy was a slave owner and shit.
Right.
But still, like
A slave.
a fore-founder of the country. But like, when you're taking down people like Theodore Roosevelt and stuff like that, like, where do we draw the line on
I mean, everybody's a bad person.
letting people take down a statue? Like, if they made a statue of me,
Well,
like,
I just saw recently that there's a big post on Facebook or whatever going around about how Germany doesn't have any Nazi statues and da 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 da. They just
we have them in America.
Well,
we have a statue of Werner von Braun, dude.
yeah. Well, they just fucking like
that should
raised
be
the
torn
statue.
down.
They just raised the statue.
Like,
Hey,
that should have been torn down
like
a while
last
ago.
week, they just raised the statue of fucking Lenin, bro. Of fucking Soviet, fucking right after Stalin, fucking, Marxist Lenin.
Yeah, and the thing is they want to fucking put Charles Marx as their fucking hero. Charles Marx is a documented racist. Documented. He's written books where he talks about how black people are so inferior to white people. He literally wrote books about
because
that.
He believed in there's a certain people that are going to heaven is pretty much what he thought, right?
No, Charles Marx, he's the communist socialist movement leader, but he's literally written books where he thinks that black people are insufficient compared to white people. It's like, dude, you will not find a single fucking find me one white person that says that a black person is inferior to them, and I will fucking hate that person for the rest of my life. But you're following the movement of Charles Marx as your Black Lives Matter movement when he was notably a race. Like, he wrote books about how racist he was.
What got him? Sorry, I don't know if I missed.
He's the king of socialism.
Yeah, he wrote lots of books about
but they're
communism and all that stuff.
right. But he just, I mean,
His idea of socialism
he's the leader
is
of the socialism movement. Is that what you guys are
Yeah,
saying?
but he died in like 1840. or
Right.
something like that.
But they're like
Marxism. You gotta look up Marxism.
Okay.
But they're
Is
using
it a cult? Because I love cults. I'm trying to join.
I
If
fucking love cults.
there's any cults out there that are looking for some new members,
but
I
it's
think
just
I would
like-
like to try that out.
You can't, like, my thing is like, you can't, I don't know, like, cry out. Like, you need to, like, we need to, and it should be happening, and I'm glad that it's happening right now, that people are crying out against systemic racism. I'm super happy that's happening in our life right now.
Right.
But you can't do that and then quote Charles Marx. You cannot fucking do that. That defies your movement. That makes you look like a fucking child that just listened to a liberal arts professor for 30 minutes. And it's dude, it's so infuriating when you see people quote Marx and then talk about racism. That shit drives me fucking insane. He literally, I think there's an account, and I think he published the hard R N-word like 50 plus times, published it in a derogatory term. And people are using his quotes and his movement or his ideas to make a movement. And it's like, you guys don't understand. Like, they literally in Chaz or Chop or whatever the fuck it is, they're already recreating segregation.
Yes.
So, like,
but the other way around now, it's the black only zones,
Yeah, well, that's how it was before.
But it's opposite where it's, this is a better place. You know, just like
well, they have 11 blocks. They don't got a lot to choose from.
yeah, but you
So,
know what I mean?
hold on,
It's
this
like-
is- I don't mean
there's
to-
like,
Well, how long have we been doing systemic racism the opposite way as well, though? Like how many places have been well, you know, just because you're, you know, what about black colleges? How is that not racist?
no, well,
Was
dude,
it-
I think it's the same as all girl colleges and all boy colleges.
So you can have an
I-
all white college?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't think you can, dude.
Well, not anymore, but you could.
No, I'm talking about right now. There's all black colleges, though.
That's fine. I don't really
Can
care.
they?
I don't
Can
like.
they? Can
that's-
they do
that's-
all
yes,
that?
yes,
That's,
they can.
that's one of those things where I just like I don't really care.
I understand that, but if
That's-
you were to do an all white college, it would be racist.
Right. No, I get where you're coming from.
Right.
Like,
My thought-
I totally understand where you're coming from. But like at the same time, like
I don't
It's
care
like,
about it.
I don't-
You know.
because
I don't give a
I'm
fuck.
white-
I'm not
white-
ever going to college.
well on top of that, white people outpopulate black people by I think it's like 2 million to 1 or something like that.
Really?
I'm pretty sure it's close to that.
Wait, no, that can't be right. Oh, you mean in our country?
Yeah. Or not 2 million 1, 200,000 to 1.
Oh my god, that makes way more sense.
Yeah, no, I misspoke.
What the
I'm sorry.
It sounds like, do we
it's
only
like-
have 4 black people? Do I know all the black people in the world?
No, it's,
Wow,
it's like
that was awesome.
it's
I
like
was so confused.
there's like 4
oh, mama.
no, there's like 40,000 black people in America, and there's like 300. No, way more than that. Like 400,000. Jesus Christ, what am I saying right now? There's like 40 million black people, 13 million are men, and 27 are women. Is that the math? That math makes sense, yeah. And then there's like 300 million white people, and then the rest are some sort of mix or Hispanic. And white meat also includes like Jewish and
Right.
Hungarian and shit like that. And then you have the the 16
All right.
million undocumented, which
So
is
okay.
whatever. Like
So
we've
got-
talked about it before. I don't really care if you're undocumented or
So okay, so the population of the United States is 328 million in 2019, and white people alone is 76.5%. Black African are 13.4. American Indian are 1.3. Asian are 5.9. Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander are 0.2. 2 or more races are 2.7. Hispanic Latino are 18.3. And yeah, that equals up.
One thing I'm
pretty sure it's like 40 million people are African American.
We could
I
just do
think-
the math.
Yeah, but if you're not a scholar and you're listening to this on the road,
Do you think-
I think it's like close to 40 million. But it's just like, dude, there's what was the white? It was like,
I heard Candace Owens talking about how Latino Americans are the highest growing population in America right now.
yeah, they are.
You know, being born in America as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, 100%.
I mean, it's whoever has kids faster, right?
Canadian Americans are probably way lower than Latin Americans because
Right.
Canada, they have.
I just didn't know if they had a lower gestation period or something.
I mean, I think it's just, dude, like people. I mean, shit. Like, what is it? I can't remember what religion it is, but they're on track to be the most populated, religion or race or religion in America, just by them just having a bunch of kids. I can't remember. Islam?
Latino.
Mormon, Islam.
It's like Islam or something else, but they're like, I mean, this is, my knowledge is based off a YouTube video that I think that I watched maybe like 6 years ago. So this could be way off. This could be way off. But I mean, it's just wild to think, like, I don't have a problem. Like, I don't care if our country, someday ends up being fucking,
all one race.
black, brown, yellow, fucking pale as
Yeah, I don't give a
pale
shit
as they-
either.
Yeah.
As long
Right.
as
I
As
feel
long,
like
as,
people-
long
it's-
as my kids are fucking goddamn beautiful.
Do you think
I
that's
don't
why
care
though?
what
They're
color
like
they are.
people who are like up there, like they want like, you know, they want the white power to stay or something, or they like,
Well,
they're in these old ways, like
There's-
afraid that
I
the
saw-
country
I
is
saw
gonna
this
like.
fucking- I saw this weird thing where I don't know if it was propaganda or what to make people hate the BLMs or whatever, but it was like, dude, it was like how like they didn't want interbreeding of blacks and whites and shit like that.
As one of the they said one of the things we want for the
Yeah.
black life, we don't want you guys to.
Yeah, we don't want white people. You know,
That's where we were talking about the segregation and that, like that's where. So this is my point. I've been trying to talk about this. I've been trying to figure out a way to say this to where it doesn't sound fucked up, but like they're going based off of a movement. I feel like sometimes the movement goes past the idea of wanting equality and goes towards hating the other races,
Yeah.
especially white people that oppressed them. And they're always people are posting stuff saying if you white and you're staying
Yeah.
quiet, like you're the problem. And it's like I feel like
Well,
so
at
when
what
we,
point do I not? I don't have an opinion on it. You know.
Well,
at
I
what
mean,
point
think
is
about
it not my place to be talking about it?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, so when we were talking about the red coats versus what the gray coats in Germany or something, like, I don't know how many Nazis really they had or people that were a part of that party, but eventually, you know, Hitler came in and that Nazi party took control. And it's like, I don't really understand how that all worked out. So I'm not trying to say this in any way at all. Like, this is just like theoretical, but I mean, do you guys know, like for the red coats, like what the percentage of the red coats were, or like or the gray
brown
coats,
coats?
the brown coats?
I'm not.
Red coats.
I'm
Red
not
coats
even-
were
Red coats were opposing the Nazis.
the. No, wait. What?
And the brown coats were the
wasn't it?
Nazis.
I was.
But
saying-
I'm not
Yeah.
not even self-educated on that.
No, no.
I
no,
just wanted.
not
I
at
just.
all.
I when I was walking out to go to the bathroom, Michael said something about how up until recently it was frowned upon for interracial marriages. I'm pretty sure it was a bill that was passed in 1986, which was what. So when was Martin Luther King killed? Like 1963 or something like that.
I don't know.
But it was literally like 15 years later, 1968, I'm pretty sure is the year, is when they legalized interracial marriage. Like it was literally illegal.
But what I was saying was that there's a thing out there that what the BLM movement wants is for white people not to intermingle with blacks, you know, marriage wise.
I mean, if that's their prerogative, it's whatever. But that has like, I think we need to take. I think we need to take legalese as an ordained minister. I think we need to take legalese out of fucking marriage. Like it shouldn't be a law. It should be between people and people.
And not
like,
right.
I understand that through taxes and shit like that, it has to be legal. But
Why should you get taxes if you're married?
There should be no. Well, you get benefits.
That's what I meant. Why should you get a tax break? 'cause
Why
you're
should you
married?
get benefits? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I get
But-
some of it,
But like my thing is you shouldn't like. I mean, fuck. You should not be able to tell someone who the fuck they want. And I thought that we settled this in like 2012.
Yeah, what happens if someone
Like-
wants to marry a penguin?
Well, that's not a person.
Oh, okay.
animals are
like-
people too.
You can tell yourself that your cat or your dog is a person, but you
It's part of the family.
you shouldn't be able to get a legal tax break because you married a fucking pet. But my thing is you should be able to marry whoever the fuck you want, regardless, as if they're fucking gay, trans, whatever. I don't care. You want me to call you fucking Jupiter?
I mean, hey, but
Just let me know. Don't sue me because I don't call you Jupiter the first time I meet you.
Ma'am.
But like you should not be able to legalize. Like I think that's another form of
isn't
censorship.
marriage? Isn't
Like,
marriage church
dude,
though? I mean, where did marriage? I can't remember. It didn't
Marriage
start
comes.
with
Marriage
Christianity.
comes from the
did it?
church.
Does it come from Christianity or like?
I mean, they have it in Islam. They have it. It's like a.
So separate the
it's-
church and state.
well, I mean,
man.
marriage.
Is it Abrahamic though?
Marriage comes from when a caveman clubbed a woman and brought him back to his cave and said that you're mine.
Well, do you think they were? What's it called when they strictly stay with the same partner? Starts with an M. I want to say mahogany. That's not.
No,
that's
no, you're talking about
monogamy.
Monogamy.
Monogamous. Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
but
monogamy.
it started out as like a brutal fucking way that man and woman procreated together over and over again. But marriage now, I think it signifies that
we're together forever.
We're together, not even necessarily forever, because a lot of people get divorced. But it's like it signifies that we have chosen to be together. It's like it started out as this brute, like, and I think that's like the best way that to translate how something changed over time. Just marriage itself is. It started out as a caveman claiming a woman and killing anyone that wanted that woman, and it turned into we agreed to be together, like we love each other, which that's also probably the biggest point, I guess.
I don't know. I think love is just a chemical, so you can procreate, you know.
But anyways, my point before, what I was just curious about was like, but before we get too far away from it, when we're talking about the reason I was asking about, you know, the whole thing with the Hitler and the brown coats uprising and shit like that, I just want to I don't think you were in the bathroom when I was talking about how some like BLM, you know, people, like, he was saying how there's racism already in like Chaz and stuff, and like segregation and stuff like that towards white people. Like, what is it possible? Like, I'm not saying even is it possible, but just in theoretical worlds of,
is it probable?
Is it probable that it could eventually someday where, you know, this is why I don't even want to talk about this, but the idea that, you know, they rose up, controlled their government, went to war with all these countries, killed Jews because they weren't a part of them. I mean, if they eventually keep getting their way and make this movement into something, you know, where if it goes the wrong way, I like the idea of the movement, it's perfect, but, you know, the idea of it being equality, but do you have the chance where white people can slowly, over time, become, you know, the lesser? I'm not talking about in our lifetime, not our kids' lifetime. You know, I'm talking like down the road, like someday is it possible that white people will somehow maybe end up being like
be slaves again?
Well, yeah, could be suppressed. I mean, or a government that looks at it and I don't know. It's just a wild thought. Like, I just like thinking, like, where could this world go? You know, what's going to happen in fucking 200, 300 years? It's the most wildest thing, you know.
I always see on Facebook, dude, it's like, you know, racism and, you know, slavery has been a part of America for like, you know, X amount of years, you know, 250 some years.
Right.
I'm just thinking to myself, slavery has been a part of the world forever, and America came along and stopped it, you know? Like, why y'all hating on America for that?
Yeah, England didn't stop slavery.
Right.
After
how many years?
Civil War, like,
yeah.
That's where, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying
they still had Irish as slaves.
I don't mean like we're gonna be slaves. Like, I don't think they would ever make
they
people
sold
slaves,
Irish slaves to the railroad industry.
Yeah,
and
Asians too.
Yeah,
but you guys like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, they sold. The Intercontinental Railroad was built by freed black people, Irish slaves that were sold to the American government, and Asians that were sold. And it was the, God, what was it called? The Transcontinental Railroad contract was the contract that had the Asians working on the railroad from San Francisco towards, what was it? It wasn't Nebraska. Where the fuck was it?
Yeah, it was Fort Dodge, Kansas. That's where it met at.
The Golden Spike.
Yeah.
Wherever the Golden Spike was laid,
I think so.
They literally had Asian slaves working. And by slaves, I mean pennies on the fucking dollar.
Exactly.
Laborers. And dude, Even after the 15th Amendment that abolished slavery, the Emancipation 13th.
Yep.
But it's just like even after that, like they were still bringing
Nebraska.
in slave laborers from other countries.
It was Nebraska where the Golden Spike is.
Yeah. Fuck that state. Fuck Nebraska.
Dude, a whole lot
Fuck
of
the
nothing.
Cornhuskers.
Whole lot of nothing.
I honestly, I would always watch Nebraska play. I was fine with them, but I think the reason I just am getting sour towards them is because a big part of my family, my not my blood family, but they're all from Nebraska, and just give me so much shit for being a Hawkeye fan that I'm just like slowly starting to turn on Nebraska. I'm like, you guys are a bunch of pieces of shit if you guys are like these people.
Oh, literally, like the Chinese sent over like all the railroads that went through the Rocky Mountains. So many fucking people blew up, just blowing through the fucking mountains.
Right.
All of them working slave wages.
Bro, watching
Hell on Wheels.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah. That's what I was trying to think about. Hell on Wheels is what I was trying to think about. Yeah, that's. I mean,
it's a very accurate rep. Like I know it's a TV drama, but it's a very accurate representation of what actually happened.
Right. Yeah, you see the different sides of who was working for the different ethnic groups working. Like you said, the Asians over here versus. The slaves or whatever. Yeah, like it was, crazy to think that that's what was going on back in the day. And they couldn't go home after a long day of work and hop on the old, Discord and chat with their friends.
Yeah.
So unfortunate.
It's the story of people risking their lives for fucking 10 cents a day.
Right.
And I know inflation would make that be like a fucking $1 a day, but piss off with that shit. I don't want to hear someone in the comment section be like, "Oh yeah, and with inflation, that's $1.50 a day." Go fuck yourself. Like the work that they were doing, they didn't know how to fucking build a bridge that would carry a fucking train car.
Yeah,
and they were fighting Native Americans, which is a whole nother issue. They're fighting Native Americans off their fucking land.
Right.
And at the same time, they were also fucking blowing themselves up, trying to, like, their foreman's like, "You light that TNT or you're fucking going back to China," or some shit like that. Like, that's the reality of what happened in this, like, in not even just in this country, in the world. The slave trade didn't end with emancipation.
But that's where it's like
what we talked about it last week when fucking the Obama administration brought slave trade back to fucking Libya, where at one point you could watch slave auctions live on YouTube. It's just like people are so like you I don't know. I was gonna say you need to be less wrapped up in what's happening right now versus you need to be less wrapped up in what has happened as you need to be wrapped up in what's happening now.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like people they're always bringing up about, I mean, they're always trying to bring up and make notice of what's going on. But it's like, I feel like there's, like what you talked about before with, you need to make sure you have demands. It's like, you need to stop just, being out here getting mad about what has happened and get mad about what's not getting done.
Exactly. And that's what we talked about. Was it last week when we're like, you need to take it away from me. Like, your mayor isn't the fucking problem. Like, he might be a part of the problem. Your mayor is not the problem.
Your mayor is put there.
He's a symptom of the
scapegoat.
problem.
Your mayor is a simp.
Yeah. Your mayor is a simp, dog.
Like, there's no reason that Nancy Pelosi is worth $700 million or whatever the fuck she's worth.
Exactly.
And she's been a congresswoman for like 20 years. Dude, she was in office. She was like a secretary to JFK or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason. Like, she was a secretary in the JFK era. Probably not to him.
No, right.
But yeah,
it's great. We've talked about it before. It's crazy the people that just stick around forever.
Like we were talking about. Fauci was fucking.
Yeah.
He was. Jimmy Carter introduced him Like goddamn Jimmy Carter. How old is that dude?
Jimmy Carter.
The guy who did the body reports on JFK was the same one who did it on what was
Epstein.
it Epstein?
Yeah.
Like
God
what the
damn.
fuck?
but
Like,
he did it in a way that he was like, he didn't die this way. He didn't die the official story way. The guy that did the JFK autopsy. Well, the guy that did the JFK autopsy
wasn't him. He was
the
just there. The guy who did was
Yeah.
just there. But
he was like, no, that's not how it happened. And again, no, that's not how it happened.
mhm.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember the fucking name. He did 60 Minutes interview on Epstein.
Did he really?
Yeah, and he's like he didn't fucking die the way that they told you that he died.
Oh, really? I thought
He's
I thought
like,
he was a part of the person covering it up and shit.
no,
Oh.
he was part of the person exposing it.
Oh.
That's why when the his autopsy came out through the Trump released his autopsy, or Trump's administration released his version of the JFK autopsy. And that's when they came up with the magic bullet theory, where it bounced off the driver 3 times, exited out the back of his shoulder, and hit JFK in the forehead.
Yeah.
That happened to
Insane.
me one time.
Insane.
I think I've hit that shot in Call of Duty once or never. I don't know.
No,
I don't
it's
know.
just it's literally the amount of fucking censorship that happens is so unreal.
It's ridiculous.
like even the government has so the reason the JFK the last document dump that got released where it proved that George H.W. Bush was in Dallas the night that JFK died was released because he fucking died. That's how fucking dumb our system is where you can't redact confidential fucking documents when the person's still alive if they've been sitting in a point of power. Because it can compromise.
Transparency in the government should be just the number one. In my opinion, that should be the first move. That should be the number one movement that we need to work on, because it doesn't matter. They're going to make us feel like we've accomplished.
And that should be
things.
one of the that should be one of the number one demands of BLM right now. It should be transparency between local and federal government.
AJ, when you run for mayor of Cedar Falls 2021, and I'm voting for AJ Langle 2021.
I will also be casting my vote for AJ Langle 2021 of Cedar
I
Falls.
I think that's what you need to be going.
If
with,
we
is
have
the
any
transparency,
listeners that are
dude.
listening to us that would like to have a mayor that's badass and super cool, then come live in Cedar Falls and cast your vote, dog.
So I'm just like, it's so apparent that the biggest problem with our government, like systemic racism in our police department, is one of the problems with that is over policing in Black communities because of systemic crime in those communities. But the biggest part about that is the only reason, like, it's not even like it's classified as a Black community. It's a poor community a lot of the time.
Right.
And that it's systemically targeting poor people.
Yeah.
And how the fuck is someone supposed to not be poor when they're dodging fucking charges and shit like that? Like how the fuck are you supposed to increase your net wealth when you're
paying
literally-
off fines.
We even think about
when you're paying off fines.
It's like
yeah,
you
exactly
would.
what
I
it
feel
is,
like
bro.
normally you'd tell people, like, you would say even too, like, you'd be like, well, don't do it. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand the level of poorness that they're on is someone from their family member, whether it's your kid or your cousin or your brother that gets in trouble. That person's not going to be able to afford whatever happens to them. Like you almost, I've known people that it's like they got to help each other.
Yeah, but why do you
it's
gotta get
like-
in trouble though? I mean, why do you? What are you doing that needs to get in trouble? Why can't you just go to school and not get in trouble?
I mean,
But here's the thing
but
about
I
that.
could
Here's
have
the thing-
done that.
But here's
I
the
got
thing.
in trouble.
Here's the thing about that is, man, it's like
Girls just want to have fun, dog.
they've got, like AJ said, over policing in those areas so that those kids get more and more trouble. Because do you know how many fucking
then
retarded white kids from the fucking rich fucking hills over here fucking did so much more
Right,
shit, you
right,
know,
right,
and they
right.
didn't get told for shit.
It's overly, that's what I was kind of trying to get at, is they're over policed, and yeah, like they have petty crime and shit like that going on, but it's overly shown in statistics because they're over policed.
Yes.
Whereas if you grew up, or if you policed the same neighborhood I grew up in, where we were sneaking out of our houses, fucking lighting shit on,
Smoking cigars and
smoking cigars. but like if
Lighting on cigars.
If the police on the south side of where we grew up, where me and Dylan grew up, was policed as hard as the way the north side of town was, like it would be
also
completely
ain't gangbanging though. There's a lot of people that I know that are gangbanging on the east side of Waterloo.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's nobody in Cedar Falls that's gangbanging, bro.
Well, there's people that are trying to be gangbangers.
No, there's nobody fucking shooting motherfuckers like there are on east side of Waterloo. Bro, I fucking played football with a dude. I played football with a dude that just went to fucking jail for fucking shooting at some dudes over a dice game yesterday.
Yeah,
because it's Waterloo.
Yesterday.
Because it's Waterloo.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's at the same time.
I'm not saying that they're
There's-
all
there's-
in Waterloo.
there's a lot of
They can
people-
move to CF.
Well, the whole time, like the whole reason gang violence started out is because they were over policed and underprotected.
Right.
And so a lot of the time, it's just being underprotected by your community, so the community has to protect themselves. That's where gang violence comes from.
Well, exactly, yeah.
And people need to understand, like, and that's what scares me about people defunding police departments and shit like that, is that's just going to lead to more gang violence. Like,
should we have more police? Or you just kind of fixing yourself a little bit.
I think that we need to have more trained police.
Trained police, yes. I like that idea.
Where like 20 hours of a cop's 40-hour or 50-hour work week should be training.
You said how many?
20. At least half of their week should be training. But if you have over policed areas, there's a lot more violence. If you have under policed areas, there's a lot more violence. It doesn't add up when you have fucking
do you think
undertrained police? Like
exactly.
it just
I think the training's one thing though,
like being
the violence is gonna be there either way. It's the community. It's not the police, and it's not the people.
Dude,
it's the community, dude. Really.
Next year, to keep my plumbing license, I need to go attend 16 hours of class.
Right.
Just to keep my license to build a fucking house.
Right.
Please don't, like, they should have, like, I think half of their job should be on the job training.
It should be the law. They should be learning the law. Too many times
dude.
You see police officers on video who just don't know the law, and then you think of that and you're like, how many other police officers aren't the ones, being a dickhead, but they don't know the law.
Fucking pulled over and shit, and like I could have probably got off with nothing because I got fucking coerced into fucking be like, oh, whatever, dude, just do your thing, and they were really just lying to me, trying to get me to fucking,
Well, I remember my one buddy got off on charges because the cops literally.
Ready to assist you.
Was it crack cocaine?
It was coerced.
Fuck you, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. I just kind of forgot about it, and then I was like, wait, I know that word for a reason.
Don't be rude.
Yeah, I don't know. I think cops just they don't know. They need like you said, I think when it comes to training, their training should be education on, they should be made to pass tests on the law. If you're going to be out there protecting the law, we don't want you out there fucking with, black people for no reason and, just being dickheads to random people. We want you to be out there to enforce the laws that we want, even though the laws.
So I think they should be the fire department. They should only come out when called.
That's what. Well, I like the idea of them being out there, but it's be a service to the community. Don't be a service to the government. There'll be a service to the city and the government.
Don't be a fucking tax collector.
Right.
That's
like,
what they are.
They have to pull so many people over a month. It's like, dude, fuck you. Like, just because you got to hit your quota, like, that's fucking dumb. That should be not a thing. Why is that a thing?
I've been working at a bar for a long time, and I've been told multiple times, be careful on your way home tonight. I know you had a drink. Be careful on your way home. We got word that the police are out looking for drunk drivers. And I get that we live in a college town, but just the fact that is a warning that I receive post me getting in my fucking vehicle.
Right.
That's insane to me. Like that. And I've gotten it multiple times my whole life. Or like my whole working there. It's just, that's actually insane to me. Where it's just like they're looking for drunk drivers tonight. It's like, and we live in a small town.
Like, you know what
it's not like it's LA where they have like those
checkpoints.
A small town, like, dude, fund our taxi services. You're doing Ethernet. Like, give us better taxi services.
Instead of the one guy that fucking owns half the town.
Oh, I fucking hate Black Velvet.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Because he does literally own half the town and the taxi services.
Technically, Viridian owns half the town.
Well, actually, yeah, he doesn't own shit.
Yeah.
Does he go through Viridian, you think?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not.
Probably Farmers, bro.
Farmers Bank only.
That's where fucking all the big wigs at my fucking bank or at my fucking work go to.
You mean you don't have to be
lonely and everything
with Farmers only?
Damn.
Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, dude, it's fucked up. And honestly, I think I think the like going back to our topic, I think censorship is fucked up, but it's kind of pisses me off that it's really censoring the hot topic. You know, like I'm like, bro, there's so much people could have their eyes open to. You know, there's so many other stories that people could be learning about and reading about, like how our government's fucked up. And it's like, instead they're on this. I get.
Well, they don't want. Well, at what
they don't
point?
want to know how fucked up the government is, though.
But they shouldn't be doing it in the first place. But they. I mean, I feel like.
But they're getting court or government. They're getting money from Boeing, the same people that fucking pay the government,
right?
To not. But like, at what point do we? At what point do they stop letting us talk about local PD? What point? Like that's where it's like.
At what point?
We're like we talked about. When we were talking about when they were taking down monuments earlier, you give them an inch and they're going to take a fucking mile. At what point do these people that are censoring you, where do we stop them from being able to censor us? Is
platforms, right?
I feel like they think
trusted platforms.
I feel like they think at what point do they put the cloth of the sheep eyes? You know,
because hasn't Twitter? I mean, I'm not saying I don't know for sure, but has Twitter? Is Twitter right now probably one of the biggest and other, stuff, but like it shows how much young people can communicate and, like, I don't know, expose, so I mean, so if people realize that, we need to have a platform instead of publishers. So I'd hope if people realize that Twitter, is starting, if they were becoming an actual, like too big of a publisher and like censoring shit, I would hope that there'd be other places for people to go or other social media that would hopefully, I don't know. I don't know the solution, but I feel like the publishing side of social media is where we fail if we keep going down the path of being on publisher sites.
Well, the publishing when it comes to social media like Twitter and Facebook and shit like that, those companies are going to go bankrupt very quickly because say you censored Rand Paul, anyone can publish a law or push out a lawsuit against you for censoring that. And that's the way publishing companies that's why they go under.
Publishing companies go under because you could sue the
company, not the person. And that's why they've been fighting for years to remain as platforms and not publishers.
So they can't.
And they testify.
sued.
They testify in front of Congress like
like
once a
Facebook when he
year.
was in
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg.
And that's why you
what
saw
it-
him. Yeah, exactly.
'cause
When
then, yeah.
when he brought his own fucking butt pillow. He was sipping on water, looking like a robot and shit. Even though he stole the fucking idea of Facebook from those two twins at Yale.
Bro,
The worst of the Ivy Leagues.
I don't know. I think it's something that
If you listen from Yale, he didn't mean that.
if it's fucking corporate censorship though, like I feel like there's just no stopping. I feel like a movement, shit's gonna progress.
Well, the worst part about corporate censorship is they have bots that automatically tag shit. So say this video is automatically tagged, we have to argue our case against the bot automatically tagging our video or our audio is not going on anywhere that will be censored, but we have to argue our case against the bot. It's not the other way around.
That they have to say, why did the bot find
Yeah.
or censor you or something like that?
Yeah, you have to argue your case against the bot.
Weird.
I mean, I don't know. Man, censoring should not even I don't know a whole lot, but censoring should not be a thing.
In 2020,
Censoring.
no, not at all.
Censoring should not even be an existing like. I mean, I get it. So let's say you're a public. If you say you're like a publishing platform, like, and you only want people to post stuff that's like what you want published. Like, I mean, I like kind of understand, but to the extreme of these things that are everyone is thinking that it's a platform where you can find out whatever you want, and how many people are going to realize
there
that
should
Twitter,
be a disclaimer
Yes.
in not a fucking
The-
terms of service ad. There should be a disclaimer on everything you read.
This
if-
is
if-
a
if-
liberal site that does not produce.
but you know what though?
Well, right, and that's where it started for me too, where they were like, and I didn't really care because I don't really give a fuck if you're liberal or
Right.
Republican. Like, I don't really care until I hear what you really fucking think about.
I'm
Like, you like.
I don't care if you're liberal or
you know-
Republican. I just
Unless
care
you
if you're
argue it.
authoritative or fucking.
If you argue
you know?
it, if you try and
Well,
argue it instead of
like, I'm not about that
debate or
authoritative
like
shit.
I'm
Well,
not even
yeah,
debate
yeah.
or argue. Just say what you want to say and get over with. Like, I'm not here to argue with you. Like, just
Do you know how many fucking Republican dudes that are against abortion probably told their mistresses, "You have to get an abortion because I can't have this baby. I
it'll
don't
ruin my
want this on my
career."
yeah." Like, I'm sure that happens, and so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care on the Democrat Republican standard. When you're saying I can't criticize Dr. Fauci when he openly admitted that he was a liar,
right. A guy who's been working for us for how like that's the
40
thing
years.
that fucks. It's like, dude, like I think someday, like I'm hoping this movement. That's where it's like this movement needs to recognize that we
They
are
need to
not in
make a
control
list
of our
of
government.
demands.
We are not in control of our government, and that is fucked up.
Yep.
We have no control over our government controls us. This is not the way America was supposed to be.
For the people.
Is
of the
yeah,
people.
this is not like and I think they think people could argue and say, well, I used to think that America wasn't smart enough and wasn't informed enough and leave it up to the people who are smart. But I think that's the only reason that we are not informed like we're supposed to be is because that's how they raised us. That's how our
Well, the thing
government
about
has
it-
pushed us to
yeah.
be uninformed and to not understand. Like
Yeah.
all these people shouting this movement, they're bandwagoning because it's what's popular and it's what's hip. And I like that it's hip. I like that it's popular. That's what a movement needs to be. It needs to be hip and popular for people to join it. It needs to be a problem too, but we talked about that last episode. You really have the main hardcore people out there, fucking shit up. But
well, they're
it's
going to
like,
shout on your argument that's for their cause, but for something better. And America is like right now reaching where England was circa fucking 1776, like where the police of the world, and we're enforcing the news that goes around the world outside of fucking Asia. And it's gonna get to a point. I don't think people realize how fucking fast to a point that the American government is gonna be world policing to a point where it's scary. Where we're already at Hitler level fucking wars, and
that's not even
India and China are about to be going into war. And
yeah, I saw it, you know. So I think what we need to do is colonize Antarctica.
We've been calling the Philippines as a colony. Puerto Rico is a colony. Like
No. I meant like
we're literally
just us three colonize Antarctica and make our own little state.
Yeah, but like the American government has been doing what we fought against in colonizing other fucking countries.
Yeah.
Just let them be free or let them be a part of America. And they're like, oh, we give it up to a vote every year. And then every year it's just like there's election fraud in the colonization of these other fucking countries. And it's just like we need to get to a point where people need to realize we're becoming what England was in the fucking 1700s.
What England was, or we have always been.
Yeah, well, we have always been. We're a tool of England. We're a tool of the Bank of England.
Yeah, we never. I honestly
we have Rothschilds and fucking what are they called? The Rothschilds and Rothwas.
What are you thinking?
I had someone. I tried to tell someone about the Rothschilds.
But we've been under the behest of the fucking Rothschilds since the foundation of this country, and we are still under their fucking rule. We still pay taxes to the Bank of England. Like, you think you're free? You're not. You're not. Like,
I tried to tell someone about the Rothschilds, and then he's a pretty informed dude, and I think he's a pretty informed guy. But we were talking about it, and how I was saying how they but I was just saying how they kind of run shit and they control everything and stuff. Not literally everything, but he's like, well, no, someone said that I read about it. There's too many moving parts for them to control everything that goes on in the nation. I'm like, you don't have to control everything. You just have to control people think that when people say that these people are controlling the world, they're not controlling the whole world. They just work from here and just let it fucking spread.
I've heard theories that I don't necessarily believe, but there's a theory out there that Hitler was a bastard child of the Rothschilds. Do you guys know the history of how the Rothschilds got their fucking fortune? Is during the French Revolution, they ran back to the French banks and said, yeah, the French have won against the people, and they withdrew all their money from the French banks, and then the revolution destroyed the royal family in France. And that's how they just sat on it, and they reinvested it into the creation of New France. That's how they got all their money.
I think I watched and right into it. And I don't know everything about what they're doing or what they have their hands in, but for you to say that this world wasn't
the Rockefellers, that's the other name.
Rockefellers. Damn it, dude. It was so, I was like, that was
I think one of the big ones right now that people need to look at is fucking George Soros.
Yeah, you want to tear down a fucking monument? Tear down Rockefeller Plaza. Yeah. Don't tear down the fucking statue of the guy that invited Theodore Roosevelt. Don't tear down his fucking monument. Tear down Rockefeller Plaza.
If you want to tear down anything, tear down the living people who are fucking us over.
Dude, go
tear them down. Go tear down
the fucking central banks, dude.
I just saw a news article today that they're tearing down the central banks in Libya.
I think I posted that, yeah.
Really? Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
This is dope as fuck, dude.
Because they made their currency less than $1.
This some Oprah shit. You get a revolution. You get a revolution. You get a revolution.
It's fucking asinine that I don't know. I think really
it's moving in a better way.
In myself, I can't get over tearing down Theodore Roosevelt outside of the
it's rioting.
Museum of Natural History.
I feel like it's not informed rioting. It's rioting. It's not like you look at the Boston Tea Party or other shit, and they're I feel like everyone who was there rioting and stuff or whatever, like kind of understood the cause of what they were riding
They didn't
for.
hurt
Where
any
not
ships.
that
They didn't hurt any ships that when they did that, dude. They just fucking threw the
it was
tea
for
over.
protest, but I feel like today it's like you have so much angst
Yeah.
built up in communities of people who are designed to be anxious. Like I feel like as a country, we were taught and designed to be just anxious people, not not relaxing. We were designed to be anxious people, to just kind of be like, we need help from our government. Give us pills that make us not do anything. Give us food that makes us fatter than shit.
You think it was
And
from all
when-
the fucking
The drugs that they brought into America. I mean, like, dude, the
No,
genes, like, well, when
I
you
was really thinking more of like
think about that, when they brought drugs into our country, and like you can get you can take traits of being an addict from, right? Like I think that's right. You can
Your mom's a
take
crackhead.
traits and shit. Yeah. Like you
Yeah.
can, like
You can get traits.
you get addictive personalities from your parents.
You can get traits from people that were born a generation before you.
That's what I'm saying.
That's where like a lot of the Jewish actresses that came to New York City back before Hollywood was a thing. They said like what's her name? Everyone's got the picture for her smoking the long cigarette.
Marilyn Monroe.
No, not Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn
Ashley-
Manson.
Ashley.
No, not Ashley.
Anyway, but they say that she was born from Polish Nazi slaves or Nazi work camp workers, and they came to America, and she never gained weight because she didn't have an appetite because of her ancestors and shit like that.
Right. I mean, there's a whole bunch of shit to it.
Oh, there's tons of stories like that.
Right.
No, it's like it's called genetic traits.
It's like, I mean, your body, your brain learns something, and what's it gonna want to do? Like it wants to it starts to adapt.
Well,
Like, I feel like it's not,
there's like a new thing where we can't trust study like lab rats. We can't trust lab rats anymore because, and this is something I heard like the other day, is you can't trust lab rats anymore because they show a trait that they have already been going through these experiments.
like they're just being bred
Like the shock doesn't fuck them up as much as it used to and stuff like that.
which, I mean, I think all of our treatments that we test on rats, I think should be tested on our highest government officials. Like I feel like that should be part of you want to serve your country and you want to be up there and get paid the big bucks. Well, you're going to be tested on. You know what I mean?
Dude, I don't want that if I'm running for mayor. I don't want
No,
that
not
shit.
mayor. Mayor, we already decided mayors don't do anything except look
Oh,
cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
They don't. Yeah. We're not going to
Cool.
test mayors. Cool. Mayors are there, but you got to realize when the people above you die from the experiments, then you got to go get experimented on. I don't know. I'm just like that's my thing. Like I feel like our government does they do so. Like we should give they should have so much more. They should have to be the front line of the war. I don't know. I don't know. Just fuck them.
That's literally the main point about War Pigs by Ozzy Osbourne or Black Sabbath.
Generals gathered in their masses.
It's literally like
Just
dude,
like witches.
dude,
Mass.
the idea that fucking Alex Jones exposed fucking Bohemian Grove is so insane when you listen to War Pigs, because obviously pop culture people knew what the fuck was going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
That's wild. I mean, hopefully people. I think people just need to. I think it's good. I think the BLM movement is good to try and get people to recognize other movements. People don't want movements to stop. Like I said, it's a fucking It's a fashion trend. Not a fashion trend. It's a.
It's
What did I
not
say?
a moment.
It's a bandwagon type of thing where people are just like, bro. Like, I mean, I'm not saying they don't support it, but they wouldn't go out and show as much support if other people, it wasn't a big idea. You know what I mean? People are lazy. That's how we're designed to be lazy.
It's like a huge idea. It's a huge ideal, but I think that we've hit it best in the show where like you guys are focusing more energy than you need to do on one thing.
Right. Instead of everything.
Instead of you need to focus your energy on the entire United States government is fucking everyone that is below a certain standpoint.
There's no president that you will ever have that isn't working for the government instead of the people. I mean, the last example I could ever think of would have been when it was the whole thing with JFK talking about whatever
Secret societies,
whatever it was called that JFK said no to like kill his own people.
Oh, you're talking about what the fuck was it called?
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was the Cuban Missile Crisis response. It was the Project
Mockingjay?
Veritas.
No. Veritas is like a company.
Mockingjay is the news,
the CIA,
shit, right?
and
Yeah.
the news. What the fuck is it called?
I don't know. I can't think of it, bro. Yeah. We don't talk about it that much. We've probably mentioned it like 2 or 3 times in the whole time we've been talking.
Starts with a T. Project.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Ah!
I don't know.
I thought I was going to say Funky 2000.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's messed up. But I mean it's shit like that. Like if you think that you can just be out there rioting, protesting, and then you're waiting for a leader to come. Like I feel like people are waiting for
a leader to arrive.
Like, but then it's like what I feel like they've had maybe some like think about it. What would I do? What would I do if I had to if I was the government trying to avert their eyes? I would insert a leader who then who pretends to be a leader, then stops before he's noticed, put someone else in there and keep, like how easy would it be to just keep throwing people in there?
I put somebody in there and kill him, send him to Argentina, and, fucking that'd be the end of the movement.
By killing their leader?
Yeah.
Well, but that wouldn't. I mean, that's the thing is because they have so many. They're.
You think okay? So if they push a leader up to the top right now and you kill him right away,
I mean that's what I'm saying. That would be very bad for them. I don't know for sure, but I don't think that would be very good for them. You know what I mean?
For the government?
No, for the government.
Okay.
To push someone up there that far. That's what I'm saying. They get them far, and then maybe start replacing people because we talked about it in places where we looked at. I don't know if we talked about it. Maybe it was just articles.
So what if we just replaced the whole infrastructure of the BLM with people from the CIA?
I feel like that's a small section of the BLM. Is like you got to admit, like BLM isn't just black people who care about Black Lives Matters. It's its own fucking little society of people who are Black Lives Matter, CIA, Confederate people who are probably getting paid by the CIA to go cost. I don't know, just some weird shit. Weird? Like you don't know who is in the group.
What's kind of weird is how the Confederate or how the Democrats are also, I don't know, against the Democrats with the Confederate thing. I don't know. That's weird to me.
I think the whole thing with the Confederate flag and everything, like I get it. I get that sign is not good for you, but I feel like people post shit about like the Confederate flag and all this other shit. And it's like, I did see the bunny. That was
the bunny's back, bro.
I'm going to bring him home with me. But it's like, bro, like stop. Like I get like these past things, but how many posts have I seen on Facebook that are about the Confederate flag or some other shit when it could have been posts about Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Obama?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
it's they're trying to take away from the pedophile.
Project Northwood.
That's totally just brings it back.
Damn.
But it's like, fuck, people just don't, like, people just want to bandwagon on an idea and share it because it'll give them more likes on Facebook. I guarantee most of the posts that I see on Facebook are slightly intentioned towards the idea that they do care, but 90% is about getting likes and getting views and getting noticed.
You understand that 80% of the time, anything you post, your government is willing to fucking kill you to fucking make either cover it up or make it work in their favor. Project Northwood, which was what Dylan was talking about, what I was trying to find, is they were planning on, when JFK was president, filming spring breakers going to Cuba and blowing up by a quote-unquote Cuban missile and starting a war with Cuba over the war of communism. And that's a thing that actually happened. You can look it up. Project Northwood. There were like 5 different ideas that made it to JFK's desk, and he was like, "Nope, don't want anything to do with any of it.
I want nothing to do with none of that shit."
You have to understand that the government is willing to let hundreds of thousands of people die. Look what happened in 9/11.
9/11, dog. 9/11.
9/11.
Not going to get into it because it's the end of the show. Not going to get into it, but fuck.
Think about like the Lois Griffin episode where she stands in front of the crowd. She's running for mayor or something,
she's
and she
pretending
goes,
to be Hillary Clinton.
she goes 9/11, and everyone yells. But think about the future when people finally realize that 9/11 was a hoax, and you could have that same clip where someone goes 9/11, and the whole crowd goes wild because it's about
that whole episode is Lois Griffin making fun of Hillary Clinton in her 2008 race against Obama.
They have the same hair and everything.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Did you see the clip of the side by side of
that's
Lois Griffin and
it's
fucking
the
hilarious.
episode? I'm pretty sure it came out. The episode is just directly making fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hillary Clinton.
The side by side is so fucking. When they do the side by side, I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched it, but it's fucking hilarious. I don't know.
No, it was intentional by Seth MacFarlane.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell they are exactly the same because it shows her going because 9/11 and everyone cheers and then Lois. It's so funny, so accurate. Insanely accurate.
But yeah, so here we sit at the end of the show.
Well, I got one more thing, I guess. I saw recently that they there's the Facebook.
It's about sex. That's her favorite stuff.
Well, there's a bunch of Facebook like administrators or whatever are saying they're banning people for terrorism if they're wearing MAGA hats.
MAGA hats.
No, Magna.
Magna. What?
No, I mean, yeah, you're probably right. MAGA hats.
Make America
great, not again.
Pretty much, yeah. But I mean, if
make New England great again
for terrorism, though, it's they're trying to make that a terrorist.
It's the
thing.
Dude. That's it.
It's
dude,
Facebook,
it's
man.
It's gonna be a civil war, dog.
I hope not.
I hope not either. But if it is, you guys better start stocking up.
If people think about this, there's government and people. If you push to one side, they'll give you some leeway. We need to push all the way, but if you do that to someone, then it's like in poker. Your last chance is to go all in.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we want to actually have the government we want, they're going to go all in against us to try and stop us. I don't see us getting it in a way that's peaceful.
We've got a fucking more.
They need to go all in their last quarter.
We've got a more corrupt version of the English Parliament right now, which is something that we fucking didn't want to be a part of. We got a more corrupt version of it right now.
Yep.
Where we have fucking 2 parties. How fucking stupid is that? They got like 7 of them in England.
Right. And that is is it the UK or England where they're not allowed to they're not allowed to show they're not allowed to they're not allowed to use their own money. They all get a certain amount of money that they have to use for their campaign. They aren't I can't remember, but it was on It was on a show. I'm sorry, I can't remember it, but they like go in the streets.
Was it animated?
No.
Was it a
Right.
porno?
No. I think like the other. I think
two
it's
important questions.
I'm not sure, but I thought it was something where you only like you had a cap on how much money you had for your campaign. Like
The amount of money that you could spend on the
Dude,
campaign.
if they were
Yeah.
to take out
So-
lobbyists, dude, the whole fucking government would be so.
Is that what it
different,
is? Is that are they protected against like lobbyists? Like
Yeah.
is that what it means? Since
Yeah.
So if we had that, then our lobbyists wouldn't be able to touch
The lobbyists couldn't give them money.
Koch brothers, BP, shit
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Raytheon,
dude.
Boeing.
All those
yeah.
commercials, fucking this bitch supports the Koch brothers. It's like, damn, bro, that sounds bad just from you telling me that. Like,
Yeah, no, it's just they're so much campaign finance law. That's just so fucking. It's
you can use all this money.
Basically, what it is used is to hurt people that are trying to enter
Yep.
congressional politics. Is all it is.
I just can't believe that we have to use like we have so much money going into funding campaigns and stuff when really it's like it's just to get fucking money. It's either you're spending money to either it's like you said, the mafia. Like you don't spend this money hoping that they're going to change the world. You spend the money so that you're protected. Like there's no reason the person representing the poorest district in America should live in a $13 million mansion. Doesn't fucking make sense. And who the fuck is the guy? He said, if you make money working in local politics, you're a fucking criminal.
Yep.
I can't remember the name of the guy, but if you make money doing politics, you're not there for the right reasons. You're a goddamn criminal, and people need to boot you the fuck out.
I mean, you look at what
You're
we
never
went
too
to
big
with
for the vote.
our own city voting to turn our cancel our fire department. Just like right, and like we know one of the people who voted to pass the bill was someone who just got caught for fucking insurance fraud for his fucking construction company.
Who was that?
This is one of our city council. I won't say last name, but Allie's dad. And his fucking construction company that he owns, fucking for like the last 2 years, he got fucked up because he was like doing like insurance fraud or some shit like that, or tax fraud or something like that. And I'm like, those are the people that are in our government, and that's just the lowest level. You times that by 100, you get Bernie Sanders' wife bankrupting a college, and he's still one of the most loved people on the internet, no matter how much fucked up shit he's done after bending the knee to Hillary and then Joe Biden, and people are still, you want a movement and you want a leader. The person who I don't see this happening, but like I see this happening is like fucking Bernie Sanders becomes like the leader, the movement leader, and people would be totally cool with it. And I'm like,
bro, I haven't heard from Bernie Sanders in a while, dude.
I hope people are fucking burning his house down.
I hope they're burning away from
I'm not
him.
telling people to burn his house down because that I think would be illegal. But
He's
I'm
got
hoping.
4 of them, so you got your picks.
All right. Well, let me
but-
just before we end this podcast, let me just look up his 4 addresses real quick, and then we'll
don't. If they want Bernie Sanders, like, dude, fucking MLK had his fucking issues with prostitutes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he was a movement leader. But what we didn't get from Bernie Sanders was a fucking movement leader. He was just
a politician.
Yeah.
He's a politician.
He was a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
That just didn't do.
Didn't do. That should be the new catchphrase. Didn't do.
But
he didn't do. Dude.
But we need a leader to push this, and I think all 3 of us agree on some of the shit that his movement was about.
Oh, definitely.
Like, we all agree on that. But you need a leader, not a follower.
Right. Like,
I'd rather be a dick than a swallower.
Dude, if Bernie was your leader,
that's a Kanye West lyric.
Damn.
Bro, if Bernie was a leader, don't you think in all these years in government he would have gotten more done?
Oh, but he just kisses ass. That's all he does.
That's what I'm saying.
But he hits hot topics. I literally think that Bernie Sanders' movement was a psyop that got taken over by people that were more passionate about it than he was, and they were like, "Oh, this is our guy," and then he definitely 100% got robbed in 2016.
Yep.
100%. He would have been up against Donald Trump, but like, "Oh, wasn't supposed to be here. Wasn't supposed to be in this position, but I am supportive of the Democratic Party." But instead, he was just got fucked out of it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bernie versus Trump, if Bernie just bent the knee to Trump too. You know?
No, he bent the knee to Clinton.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
He wasn't even in the same party as her. He was an independent that was a Democratic socialist. So not even in the same party as her.
Right. And you think, and he's like, well, we got to defend this country against Trump. I'm like, what do you mean defend the country against Trump that's going to be in office for 4 to 8 years? Show your fucking nuts. Don't defend either party. And then after that, we can start fucking working on it. But no, you just showed us that any independent party is really, I feel like, leaning towards the Democrats.
That's why I'm saying Jesse Ventura 2020.
No, you guys got to look at Joe Jorgensen. Dude, she is fucking amazing. She fucking like went on fucking fucking.
I have seen some of her stuff.
Dude, she went on an Igloo Boys fucking podcast and everything, bro. And she's fucking amazing.
You know, we could have people, and I think people like that, our leaders, I think, are going to start showing, because that's going to be the new trend. Is if you don't call out someone for something, you better realize it's going to get shared with everyone. And hopefully that's the new way of the future.
Transparency, dude.
Transparency
is the way of the future.
And I think with all this technology, like I think they can't stop us. They can't. I don't care how much they try and censor posts or censor anything, or if they, try and control the BLM movement, like they're not going to stop. Like I said, we're gonna push them to a point where they're gonna, like, they've already had the military coming in. Like, that's retaliation. To me, that's them starting the Civil War. Like, I don't know.
I think that's a good spot to end this week.
Let's do it.
I think yeah.
After we'll catch back up with you guys
someday.
Maybe next week we'll finally do our serial killer. There's just too much going on.
Dude, there is a lot going on. I do love serial killers, though.
I do too.
I'm super interested.
I think our studio dog Piper might be a serial killer.
Serial killer of
rabbits and bunnies.
But yeah, so thanks again for joining us for another episode of the WRK podcast, where we ask the questions. By the end of the day, who really knows? As always, I'm your host, AJ, with my good friend Dylan and Michael.
Ta-ta.
And we got the studio dog in here, Miss Piper. She's been a good girl. She's gonna get some treats.
Yep. She's been doing real good. You're a real good doggy.
So yeah, follow us on Twitter at WRKPod, on Instagram at WRKPodcast. And if you need any links to those sites, you can hit up our website, WRKpodcast.com. And make sure, if you like the show, if you made it to this point, you might as well be a patron. We have a low subscribership fee. And yeah, it's patreon.com/WRKpod. Yeah. Yes. You heard it at the beginning of the show, so if I fucked it up, you just cycle back.
It's all on Twitter.
It is all on Twitter. It's all on Instagram. It's all on our website. And it's in the episode description down below. So make sure you hit all of those and leave a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube.
Leave some comments.
Yeah, leave some comments. I don't know.
Tell us how fucking fat we are. Tell us to lose some goddamn weight, okay?
Tell us to gain some muscle.
But yeah, we'll catch you hopefully in 6 days, which will be Monday. I don't know. We got a big forecast of storms coming up, so who knows what the fuck's about to happen.
Fucking A. Hopefully our basements don't flood.
Yeah. Mine was flooding too.
Mine was flooding. Yep.
Yeah, mine was
fucked up.
Mine was pretty bad. That's why we did it today. I told my boys, hey, if you want to come over, we can do it, but we're going to have some wet socks. But on the other side of that, we will see you when we see you. We love you. We love everyone that
we only love
watches.
some of you.
All of you.
Okay.
Don't listen to Michael. I'm turning the microphone off.
Happy episode 82.
Microphone off on Michael, but we all love you. We all appreciate you listening to our show. We will catch you next week
For episode 83.
Thank you.